Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do the show every day, Monday to Friday, because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins and everything else. Guys, as you see in the title, I am in panic mode, full-blown panic mode, because for some reason, I got this idea, I got this realization that we do not have 1.5 years left. We've been saying we got a 1.5 years left until bull market top, and that is true. Unfortunately, we only have like 5-6 months left until we start going towards that top. So accumulation zone or buying the dip zone is 5-6 months left, and you do not understand how 6 months goes fast. I mean, summer is right now it's January. The summer is gonna come very fast. That's 6 months, in ahead of time, and it will start going towards the upside, and it's gonna be crazy. And that is it. And you do not want to be the guy that needs to buy the FOMO pump. You do not want to be the guy that when price starts pumping towards the upside, you need to buy those pumps, because the dips and the springs will be heavy. And you will, because you're buying high and you're buying green candles, you will sell the dips, right? And it will be just madness. So I'm thinking, 6 months left. Let me show you over here on the chart. Let's go to the this chart over here. Just remove a couple of lines over here, and these are Bitcoin halvings, guys. This is on the daily time frame. Let's go do the logarithmic chart up here because it's easier to see. These are Bitcoin halvings, and what you're gonna see here on halvings, and this daily chart over here, this is daily chart. So after the halving, we had all the way up here to to September before we actually started going up. So from the halving all the way up here to September, that was like 120 bars left, 120 bars, 120 days. And if you look before up here, this is 2015, before we started going towards the upside. After the halving, it was, down here. I mean, it was like 50 bars or something like that, right? Over here. Actually over here, very, very soon than that, but let's say up here, 50 bars. And before that, after the first halving, it took something like, I think, 40 days up here, 40 days. So it took 40 days in 2012. It took, 50 days in 2016, 15-16. And in 2020, it took 120 days after the halving until we went up towards the upside. Now, we do know when the next halving is going to be, and that is in April, 17th of April, 17th April. This is the next halving. 17 April. So until the next halving right now, we have something like, let me zoom in a little bit in here. We have 82 days left, 82 days left. And if you look at after halving, the longest part was 120 days. So 80 plus 120, you get 200 days. And 200 days is 200 days divided by 30, 6.6 months, 6 months, give or take, because it can be like, couple of months to 6 months, it's gonna start up. So this is the part over here, right over here, where there is, we should definitely be pumping up here, right? This is the start. So we don't have a lot of time left, because we've been saying, that, in, 2025, the first part of 2025, give or take when, that is the bull market top, somewhere up there, right? But until we start actually going towards upside, or right, where there is no pulling back anymore, the FOMO move up here above the 60K, stuff like that, right? That comes, in the next 6 months. It's not a lot of time left. So I'm in full-blown panic mode, because my realization just kicked in, and I do know how fast the time goes and flies. I mean, it wasn't long ago that I made the video, welcome to the new year, let's look back, and that was like already 20 days ago, so 27 days ago. That's almost 1 month ago. I mean, months fly by very, very fast. So the good times are ahead of us. I'm in full-blown panic mode because I still need to allocate my stuff into the altcoins, and I think altcoins are actually a good buy right now. Doesn't matter what you look at. Cetus actually pumped big time yesterday up here. I mean, doesn't look like that, but you know, it did pump up here, and other coins are you know, right now still in this zone down here. Over here is when I bought a lot of coins down here right after June 2022. This is where I bought a lot of altcoins, and right now you can see that a lot of altcoins are a lot down than they were. So I do believe that, you know, the dollar cost averaging into the altcoins and stuff like that, you know, for the big move towards the upside is still, you know, in theory very good. And this dip up here is just, you know, legendary dip right now for any altcoins. This is engine coin, but doesn't matter what kind of altcoin you take. I mean, every altcoin has this you know, dip over here. Now if it does dip further, you know, we dollar cost average into that, but right now I think it is pretty much given that dollar cost averaging right now to these bottoms over here, it is a way to go. Not a financial advice. You do your money, I'll do my money, you know, you do you, I do me, stuff like that, right? But I do believe that, you know, my opinion is that you know, dollar cost averaging over here towards the downside is the way to go, because there is not a lot of time left. Number one, with retail is not here, the mainstream is not here. They will come here, and eventually when they do come here, that's your exit liquidity. By the time that actually happens, we are already very high towards upside, right? Believing that for some reason we are not gonna do that, I think it's crazy right now, because everything so far has played out the way we actually thought it's gonna play out, right? So over here is still logarithmic chart. Everything is played out the way we actually thought it's gonna play out. Over here this was a stop, this was a capitulation, this accumulation zone, slow move towards the upside, big move up here, four more move towards the upside. The pivot point is being created up here. We're gonna talk a little bit about pivot point, but you know, the 4-year cycles up here, they're still intact. Nothing is actually changed. Nothing has actually happened on the chart that tells us that something is wrong and it's not playing out actually the way it actually should be playing out. Even if you look at just if you don't take into consideration the 4-year cycles and we just look at a chart like a market cycle chart, we know where the FOMO top is, we know where the fear is, you know, we know where the markup is, we know where the next, you know, euphoria should be. The market cycles based on psychology are still fully intact, because, you know, euphoria, fear, down here, fear, right? It goes up, down, up, down. This is just how markets work. And right now, still, again, nothing that tells us that we are, for whatever reason, in some kind of euphoria over here and we're just gonna go towards the downside. We haven't seen euphoria. The grandma and granddad, you know, mom and pops have not bought yet, so we're still good. The exit liquidity is waiting for the price to pump, you know, to 90k or something like that before they actually provide that exit liquidity to us. Unfortunately, that is the way of the markets. For us to make money, somebody else has to lose money. It is very, you know, it is very bad way to look at it, and there is a way where everybody can be making money. One of these ways is when you know, you buy a stock and it goes up forever, which it actually can do as long as you don't cash out, and you know, the stock slowly rises towards upside. Everybody's doing it, right? Unfortunately, in these kind of markets, crypto markets, it's a lot of, you know, euphoria and fear, a lot of, you know, pumps and dumps, a lot of, you know, push the price up, create euphoria, or, you know, you get into the levels on altcoins and coins that are so far out of the, you know, real value of whatever that's worth, that it needs to pull back down, of course. So huge probability to lose money on these kind of things, because this is crypto. But as long as you're smart, or as long as we are smart, and we know how to buy the fear and sell the euphoria, and we understand the markets, how they work, we should be good. So I don't feel sorry for mom and dad and grandma and grandpa because they're not watching my channels. If they've been watching my channel, they'd be good. You understand? So I think we're still good. I am in full-blown panic mode because I need to allocate some money, and we are still going towards the upside. There is nothing on the chart that's actually played in any way, shape or form the way we did not believe it's gonna play out. This over here is the pivot point, so let's start talking about it. First, I don't know if I'm gonna talk about the pump that happened yesterday. I don't know. I mean, we had a nice pump, like 5-6% pump yesterday, which was actually nice. So we can say a quick word about that. The pump actually didn't do that much. It was nice pump, and there is, you know, this short-term break of the trend over here did happen. You can see up here broke the trend up here, but the bigger trend over here is not broken. That is very nice line over here. I mean, this looks like it came right back above it. Why is this line looking like this over here? Wasn't there another line that I was just looking at? Yeah, this line over here, besides this week. Because if you pull it over here, then we are above it if you pull it up here. And I do not know where to put this line. Over here, it does look like, you know, this is the line over here. On the other hand, you know, it could be this line up here. So, you know, give or take. We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this chart. Is this logarithmic chart? No. We're going to come back to this chart and look at it. But let's talk a little bit about bigger time frames over here. And the theory over here that I had before, and the theory that how this is going to play out. So let's go to bigger time frames up here. Sorry, bigger history. So the reason we hit the 46k level, one of the main reasons why we are up here and we are creating this pivot point, is because of this channel over here, right? And there is also, of course, the stops up here at the top at 46, 47 levels. So we're hitting the resistance level. But the theory is go something like this. Once you create some kind of, you know, top over here and you go down, you don't just go again towards the secondary top after the, you know, market cycle, right? Because these are market cycle. This is a market cycle, right? You can do that, but then the entire thing is not much. So this is just the first move in the market cycle. With the market cycles, you often get, don't have to get, but you often get this pivot point, right? You often get these pivot points, right? These are pivot points, right? So you get these pivot points, and often when price goes towards upside, downside, and upside again, we are looking to create this pivot point. So this is what we are actually been creating. So when we came up here, I said when we went down over here, I said this move towards upside is only going to create this pivot point over here. And then what's happened next up here is going to be very interesting, because you could actually pull back all the way towards downside, which we don't believe in this case, because that means we're going to go back below 10k. And if you watch somebody like Apple or Crypto Savvy, they're going to go say, we're going to go back down here again. You know, this is some kind of channel towards downside. Technically, it can be that, but it's very, very unlikely, especially considering that, you know, the halving is very, very close. You know, you got 6 months left and I'm in full-blown panic mode. 6 months left and I'm full-blown panic mode. So this move over here is going to be very interesting. So we're going to talk about it, how this actually might play out. But the theory is that it's going to create a pivot point. And once this pivot point is created, just like in 2017 over here, you can see up here, we created this pivot point and pulled back. There was a line up here on the chart, right? There was a line up here on the chart. And what happened is we hit the pivot point, we went down towards that line, and then we broke it over here, and then we just full blown towards the upside, right? So this part up here was, you know, zigzagging on the line after the pivot point, zigzagging, creating this bull flag, and then explode towards the upside, right? So that's what happened last time. So right now, you know, people might be inclined to draw the same kind of line like last time. They might be inclined to do this over here, right? And if you look at it, this up here, so they're thinking that you know, it's gonna do something like this again and break up here and go towards the upside. Might be the case. Might even be the case that this is not correct line, and the correct line is actually up here from the previous top up here and go something like that. In either case, it does this move over here and then breaks towards upside and goes towards upside, right? We do not believe that for whatever reason we are going to go back below, you know, 20k levels, or even down here and then create a, you know, secondary line, or down here, you know, do this move up here and then go towards upside, because this is 2026. We don't have that much time. We don't have that much time. The halving is up here in April. The top that we are expecting up here is in May, April next year. I mean, you can definitely see that we don't have that much time to do this move. Even if you pull back up here, I mean, we can still do this move towards upside. So, you know, bigger dump over here can actually happen, but it's going to be very, very fast. Most likely scenario, at least the way I see it, is zigzagging up here and then towards the upside. Unfortunately, I do not believe that we are going to zigzag on the downside over here like this. If we don't, I don't think we're going to zigzag in a bull flag type of fashion over here like we did last time, because I think a lot of people might actually believe that. And the reason for that is because we have this channel up here that's been going towards the upside. So this was one of the targets, one of the reasons for the targets at the 26, 27k levels up here, over here. And right now that we created this pivot point, what we might actually do is, instead of, you know, zigzagging towards the downside, we might actually zigzag towards the upside. And this is gonna make a lot of people very, very, very unsure about what's happening. Because if they are drawing lines something like this over here, and they're expecting this move over here to happen, and we do this move over here, you know, zigzag and break up here and start doing like this up here, they will be like, you know, going toward, you know, they will try to long these breakouts. They will try to long these breakouts, and they will get pullback, right? And that, maybe not actually like that. Like, let's go to the daily time frame over here, so we can see it a little bit, you know, the lines a little bit better. But they might actually think that once we break this over here, then, you know, some kind of big move is gonna happen, and then we pull back, and they think it's gonna go out towards the upside, and then we pull back again, right? I mean, that can definitely happen. So you can have this, you know, break of this line up here towards the upside, and it is actually very, very good. But instead of going towards the upside up here, we just pull back, and we are pulling back because we are still below the channel up here. We're still below the channel, so we do zigzag up here towards the upside up here. Eventually we just break that towards the upside, but this pullback after we break the line towards the upside up here might actually be very very sketchy, right? And not only that, this line up here, because this over here is the, you know, one of the tops here, maybe they're looking at this line down here. Let me just remove a little bit line so you can see this nicer. Maybe it doesn't go over here. Maybe they're gonna be drawing something like this over here, and, you know, as soon as we start breaking, a lot of people are gonna become very, very bullish, very, you know, breakout traders are gonna start trading that, and then you can have these, you know, massive dumps over here that gets everybody, you know, very, very scared. But we won't be scared because we are not looking at this line. We are not looking at this line. What we are actually looking at is this channel up here. And my theory right now is that we are gonna zigzag over here below the channel in a rising fashion up here. So we pull back, we go up, we pull back. I don't know how it's gonna be. Maybe something like this, maybe something like this. You know, it really doesn't matter. The thing is that we are slowly climbing towards the upside over here until after a halving up here somewhere, right? Over here is halving. Until after a halving, then break the inside the bigger channel over here, and then it's, you know, full blown move towards upside towards 90k up here at top. And you know, the target is still 90k at the top. There is nothing right now. I mean, there are two targets up here. This is at 60, 17k, right? The first stops up here, right? The first stops that also corresponds very nicely to the midline up here. So somewhere up here at after a halving, where is April 16 or something like that, right? This is halving. We can, you know, into the halving, you know, maybe even after a halving up here a little bit, come up here towards the line up here, zigzag, and then do this last move up here towards 90k or something like that. I mean, the 90k is the reason we are looking for the top up here, and that's because of the channel. Number one, we got confirmation up here that, you know, the channel is legit over here. So if you're in the channel, the doubling of the channel towards the upside is very, very legit. Not only that, if you right now from these levels up here towards tops, like something like 100% or something like that, maybe after a halving up here is going to be 100%. Again, move towards the top, which everything, you know, corresponds to the theory of the axis and stuff like that. But it is playing out nicely, and right now I don't have any reason to believe that, you know, this is not, you know, rising channel towards the upside, right? So this consolidation up here, reaccumulation zone up here at 30k, and then the last move towards the upside. So if you're looking at the market cycles up here, right, we got over here this capitulation. This is the first accumulation zone. This is what we call a markup over here. First of all, this is move out of the accumulation zone. This is the first reaccumulation zone. This is the markup up here again. This is the second reaccumulation zone over here. And then we go towards the upside where we get this exit liquidity up here at the top somewhere, right? And that's where, you know, people take. So you get accumulation, reaccumulation, second reaccumulation up here right now. And it looks like, you know, after that, it's just mostly towards top. But that is unfortunately in 1.5 years, and I've been saying, you know, we got 1.5 years, it's all good, guys, you know. No, We are in panic mode. Right now, we are in anxiety, panic mode, full-blown panic mode, because we only have 6 months. We don't have 1.5 years. We got 6 months until this starts happening. And just like we saw on the chart over here, we get 120 days after the halving. And before the halving, we got, 80 days. And after the halving, 120 days. That's around 200 days. That's it. This is the box, guys. This is the box, at least the way I see the box right now. This is the box over here. The 120 days, and after that box up here, it's up only. It's up only. So the way I see it, accumulation part up here, even for altcoins right now, and altcoins are, this is the chart for Bitcoin, and every altcoin needs to be looked by itself, because not everything's gonna pump at the same time, but mostly everything's gonna pump after the next 6 months. That said, the accumulation zone for altcoins, are still very, very low, but the greater crypto accumulation part of the bull run is right now, and this is the last part of the accumulation, the last 6 months. And after that, if you're not in, not a financial advice, my opinion only, you do your money, I do my money, but it's very, very little time left until we actually break towards upside and pump. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin and see what's happening in the short term up here and what's happening yesterday, because yesterday everybody was, super excited about the move. Now, the move is very nice above 10 moving average up here on the daily time frame. Unfortunately, it does not seem to be broken above the highs up here. Of course, we had this, again, I'm saying there are a couple of ways to draw these lines. I mean, if you draw something like this up here, we are hitting the top up here at, we are hitting the top up there, right? If you look at a little bit bigger time frames and maybe draw this line, something like this up here, over here. I mean, this is Binance, right? No, this is Bybit. On Binance is a little bit different, I think. This line up here goes something like this up here. And it looks like we are back above the line, which is actually very, very nice. This is 3-day chart. Weekly time frame, we got this, hugely, madly nice doji with a big wick towards downside. Big candle down, doji over here, second doji. So if this doji actually stands like this up here, this actually looks very, very bullish. So it might be the case that we don't just go over here towards upside, but we do the zigzag up here, like we said that we might actually do, right? So we might have another pump up here and towards downside, because we are not yet above the halving. If my theory that zigzag up here does not play out and we just do the zigzag over here or something like that, I mean, I'm gonna be happy either way. I could be wrong, but my theory is that right now we're gonna have the zigzag accumulation part before we actually break towards upside. But if this is supposed to just go towards upside, I'm not gonna be the one complaining. That said, this doji up here on the bottom looks very, very, very nice. This is a big wick doji on the bottom up here. We picked up any kind of liquidity below us. If you remember, we talked about liquidity and we said that liquidity is down here below these previous weeks, right? So over here, when he came into this zone up here at the top, you can see these wicks on the downside, right? And we said that we need to, if there is, gonna be any peaking of liquidity, it's gonna go below 40K, and it went down all the way down to 38K. So I think the liquidity is picked up. The next part of liquidity comes down here below these, you see this rise up here, so that's below 34K. So you gotta ask yourself, is there any reason to go down here and pick up this liquidity? I mean, there is always gonna be some kind of liquidity below some kind of levels. There is also liquidity below down here. I've been saying this before, there is liquidity down here. Just because there is liquidity does not mean that the price is going to come back down and pick that liquidity up. It just sometimes there are times where some liquidity never gets picked up, right? There was liquidity up here, it never got picked up, right? These moves over here did not happen, right? These moves down here did not happen to pick up this, whatever this liquidity over here happened. So sometimes it does happen that you create some kind of bottom and some kind of liquidity never gets picked up. So the major liquidity part up here, if you're just gonna talk about liquidity, up here is down here, right? Below these levels, right? So down here, that's below 25K all the way down to 20K. Are you gonna pick this up? Unless some kind of corona dump happens or something like that, I don't see this happening. So I would say the next part of the liquidity up here, that if there is any liquidity, is below 34K. So I don't think we're just gonna go, if we go down over here towards 34K, I don't think we're just gonna go to 34k and bounce from the 34k. I think we're gonna dip a little bit below that into the 30, 32 area down here, you know, over here to pick whatever it's down here and then go towards the upside. But it doesn't, again, it doesn't seem to be the case because, again, 6 months left, full-blown panic mode. I don't know who is actually selling anymore. Any kind of dump, you know, is bought. You know, Grayscale was selling a whole bunch of Bitcoin. The price pulled back like 20%. I've seen that, you know, Mt. Gox is supposed to be selling. That didn't push down the price to 20k. I've seen that, you know, the government is gonna be selling Bitcoins from Silk Road. That didn't push down like 120 million. That didn't push down. Somebody is buying these cells, these big cells from the government, from the Grayscale, from Mt. Gox, from whoever is selling. These big cells are being bought up, bought up, right? They're being bought up. So right now that we did the liquidity, you know, liquidity grab down here, I don't see any reason to go back down here again. So again, I don't think we're gonna go below 40k. It might be the case, it might not be the case. 6 months left. I don't know who's selling. You know, I don't know who's selling. This move up here towards upside create this very nice bottom up here. Right now we are above, technically above this line up here. Not actually, we are hitting this line. This on Bybit. Let's look at some other chart up here. Something like this up here. I mean, it looks like we are not above the line just yet. I mean, we are just, you know, retesting that. The fact that we are retesting is actually very bullish. Every single one of these moves up here, I don't know if you understand that, that's actually very bullish moves. Oftentimes when price is done, when you have some kind of top and you go towards downside, you don't get these retests, right? You pull down, you don't get the retest up here on something and then you go towards downside because the retests are actually bullish. The retests are actually bullish, right? When the price is done, there are no retests. There is consolidation and more dump, right? There is no retest. But having a retest is hugely bullish price action, right? Retests are hugely bullish price action. You can see up here a retest of something up here, retest of something up here, retest of something. Like we are retesting everything, right? Because we know we have to pull back, but you know we retest. You know, retests are a bullish price action. Retests are bullish price play because if you look at back down here, over here we had a retest on this move up here. We saw a bullish, we pulled back and then we went towards upside because of this up here. But once it was over, you know, we went down here, there was no retest. We went up a little bit, but we didn't retest, you know, all the way highs up here. We didn't retest all the way up here. You know, the retest doesn't push all the way towards upside. It just like kind of goes and just continues dumping, right? And over here we didn't, you know, for whatever reason, there was some kind of line up here. We didn't go all the way up there. We go a little bit up and then, you know, crash again towards downside. The retests do not go all the way towards top. In bearish markets, the retests do not go all the way towards top. In bullish markets, they do retest and they do retest hard and they do retest often, right? So this over here, it looks like very bullish price action to me. So the fact that you are retesting all the time, the price towards the upside, you want to go up. You just kind of not quite sure when it's gonna be. So the price needs to test these levels of resistance to see if it can actually break the levels of resistance towards the upside, right? So these are very, very bullish price action moves. So even if we pull back down here, we might see a retest up here. We might go a little bit lower down here for whatever reason, and then see some kind of, you know, retest again. But as long as there are retests on the major resistance levels, these are actually very, very bullish price action moves. At one point this will actually break towards upside, or right over here towards upside. Once that happens, it might be actually very, very nice. There are a couple of moving averages up here at you know, market resistance level. Those are at 42k levels up here at the top. This is a daily 43k level up here on the weekly time frame. That's, we are actually above the moving averages, and you can see up here on the weekly time frame, this is also very, very a very, very bullish bullish statement. You can see down here there was a very major level of support right below these levels over here. You can see up here on the weekly time frame, we did not break the level of support. I mean, we did week below it, and every single time we did week below the major you know, 41.5 level down here in the zone Every single time we wicked below these levels, we came right back up again, right? Every single time. So this over here below 41k was just, you know, grab the liquidity kind of levels, and down here below this previous wick up here, this was the last part of the you know, the liquidity. So everything is grabbed up, and this looks like it might actually close up here. So this is double doji up here on the weekly. We still don't know how this candle is gonna close, but the double doji down here with this big wick inside the liquidity grab does seem to me that we might right now do another move towards upside before we again dump and talk about 10k again at one point later in time. So Bitcoin looks good, I cannot complain. Full-blown panic mode because you know, 6 months left, and we're gonna see how this actually plays out. And again, there is this, you know, this channel up here that goes all the way from the bottom down here. And this is actually a very, very nice one over here, and goes something up here towards the stop. You can see up here we are still technically in this channel. We always readjust the channel because the first time channel went something like this over here, and that got broken right over here, right? But then we readjust a little bit because these three tops up here, 1, 2 and 3 tops are very, very nice. So you know, I do like that. And this midline up here is also being respected very decently, give or take. Could this be a little bit better if we pull it up here, something like this? Let me just see up here. Does this look a little bit nicer? Maybe it does look a little bit nice. Nah, it doesn't look. Maybe it looks a little bit nice. Doesn't matter. We're still in the channel. We're still on the bottom of the channel up here. Maybe, you know, we are not above the midline up here again, but you know, somewhere up here towards this stop up here, if we go towards the upside. So, you know, there is a good chance that we see, you know, 48k again. Then when everybody becomes bullish, then we pull back, right? Because the theory that I'm having right now, we're gonna zigzag, but we're gonna zigzag in some kind of rising, you know, rising matter towards the upside. So you break this high and then you pull back. Then you break this high and then you pull back. Then you break that high and then you pull back, right? So you get the people trick that, you know, you are going higher up here and then you pull back. So you grab the liquidity in a fashion where people think, okay, created this top up here right now. This is right now resistance level. So you break that resistance level. All the breakout traders and people who FOMO and think that it's going to go towards upside and then pull back, right? Now I create the second level of resistance, then you break that and everybody thinks it's going to go towards upside, breakout trade that again, and then you pulled back right now. But by the time this channel is actually confirmed, and it's going to take a little bit while, right, over here, the next time you break that towards the upside up here, then it goes towards upside, because right now, since you already did this 2 times, everybody thinks it's just going to pull back, but it doesn't pull back and it just goes towards the upside, right? It's all about tricking the other people. It's all about tricking other people and thinking, you know, what do people think? What do retail think is going to happen next? And if retail think once we break the resistance up here, we're going to go towards upside, we pull back. And the next time we do that again and everybody thinks it's going to, you know, right now fall back and then, you know, just explode towards upside, you know. It's all about, you know, what the retail think. But the theory still stands up here. And right now, let's go to the weekly time frame up here. I do strongly believe that this is gonna be this last part up here. It's not gonna be zigzag towards downside. It's gonna be zigzag towards upside up here, and eventually at one point we break that, right? So this channel up here is you know, second reaccumulation zone before the last move towards the upside. 6 months left, guys. 6 months left. That's it. After 6 months, it's FOMO only, all the way to the 2025 top. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna go and buy stuff. Enjoy the day, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Join our community, the chat, and you know, we're gonna chat. Nobody was chatting today. I don't know if that's me or, you know. Nah, nobody was chatting today. That's the way life goes. Leave the comment below the video, at least. I'll see you around, guys. Enjoy the day. Good times ahead. You know, I cannot complain. Life's good, man. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, in bear markets, when stuff goes down, life is bad. In bull markets, when stuff goes down, you just get even more excited. You know, you're like, it's finally the goddamn dip. The goddamn dip. It's the dip. Bye-bye, guys. Enjoy the day.